We need to get back to work. Lunch is over.
Hey, Campers, Georgia, back in the man cave. Say hello to Mary. We were having a lunch break, talking about what we're going to do. And she came up with an idea. She said, you know, you haven't done a review on a knife in a long time. So I thought, So I found this. Yep. Rough Rider. Long rifle. Looks pretty interesting. Let's check it out. So what I'm talking about, Joe, is this guy. And this is a Rough Rider, and it's called the Long Rifle. Now, it's part of a series. I love this tin. Okay, Rough Rider do this for some of their more fancier series that they come up with. It came in a mail call from Pennsylvania Mike. I don't know if you remember that mail call. It was a box with, I'm not kidding, 60 knives in it. And most of them were Rough Riders. Now, he knows I'm a Rough Rider fan. It's been a long time since I looked at a Rough Rider. I did a lot of reviews on their stuff. And I thought, you know what? Mary's right. Let me have a look. And so I went into the mail calls to have a look at the Rough Riders, and this was right at the top of the box. So I grabbed it. I opened it up because it's kinda busy. Okay, here it is here. Look at this guy. Okay, there is a lot going on here, and it's very nice. But I wanted to get all the blades out so you can see them all at once, and then we'll look at them. This is not a good thing to do to a knife. You're putting a lot of stress on the springs in that, so I want to just close it up quickly. And here it is here. A beautiful knife. Look at this thing. And as you know, I've looked at a lot of Rough Riders, and I've never been disappointed. You just can't beat their value for what you pay for these things. Now, yeah, I know everybody's going to say they're made in China. I think that was relevant 10 years ago. They've picked up the pace, and even before then, Rough Rider, which obviously is, if you know, is Smoky Mountain Knife Works series of knives, had these made in China. And I'm pretty sure they were pretty specific about, we want good quality, we want them clean, well made, yada yada yada. They had a lot of things that they wanted done, and one of the things is, I got to say that their quality control has got to be pretty good to be consistently bringing out knives that look like this. The main reason I got this one, unusual. Okay, like I said, Mike sent it to me in that mail call, and when I opened this thing up, I was in awe. It's a beautiful knife. Not only that, it has a bone handle on it. It's not your normal stuff. So very nice indeed. Now, this is from the Long Rifle series, and you can see the badge on there. It's actually a long rifle from, way back, colonial, Civil War days, and nice and unusual. Normally to have a Rough Rider thing on there, nothing like that. And you can see, look, there's no gaps or anything on the spine, and it's busy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 spaces in here. The liners, they're brass. No gaps. Nice and clean, nothing sharp. Everything lines up. Really nice. You can see the bolsters here. Nickel silver, which is typical for them. And it has the line down there. It's well made. It's a Rough Rider. And you can expect this from them consistently. I've been through a lot, never had a problem. I've not liked some of their knives because it wasn't the way it was made. It was just the style. It wasn't for me. Even this is a little busy and too big for me. But, I'm looking at it and, this is a big axe, Victorian axe, right? It's as big as this. And people put it in a sheath in your pocket and off you go. So very nice, very clean, well made. I looked at this and I didn't realize at the time, there's 6 blades on this thing. Yeah, 6. And that's something I learned today, is that you can have apparently a 6-blade Stockman. And if you don't believe me, you're looking at one right now, because that's what they call it, a 6-blade Stockman. Smooth bone handle, beautiful, very nice, very clean. Now I went online and looked it up because it came in the box. There was no paperwork or anything, and it was just in the box like that. And the first thing I did obviously was I wanted to find out the model number. And with Rough Rider, it's going to be on the main blade somewhere. And here you can see the main blade, which is the clip. Okay, nice big long clip. And it's etched with long rifle on it. You got the RR stamp there, Rough Rider underneath. And on the other side, loud and proud, it gives you the model number and says China. Okay, they're not shy about that. And the model number on this is the 2622, I think is the correct number. And if you look it up, if you go to Smoky Mountain right now, it's not available. They're out of stock. I did a general search because I wanted to know more about it. I need a description, what it's made of, how it's made, and what people think of it. And I think the only place I found it, there were maybe 1 or 2 places that said, I've got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. eBay had some, and the prices vary, but they're out there if you look hard enough. And I've got to tell you, it's a nice knife. So let's have a little closer look at it. So the official description on this, I'll get out of your way, on this knife is the long rifle red smooth bone 6-blade Stockman. The model number, like I said, is the RR2622. If you want to search for it, you can just type that in, RR2622, on Google or whatever, and it'll show you what's out there and what is about it. Now, the description, and very typical, you can almost be guaranteed this is for all Rough Riders: nickel silver bolsters, nickel silver pins. It'll have a badge. This is an unusual one because it's a particular, I want to say, limited series. And brass liners, very nice. Okay, has a bone handle. Not all these series have, but they have so many series out there that they do them in like Makata, bone. You think of a material, they have a series in that, and it's a pretty inclusive series. Just about every traditional knife style you can find. As with all traditional knives, it's a slip joint. All the knives are slip joints. Pretty sure, I was just looking through this, and I think some of them have a half stop, some don't. But if you've never owned a traditional knife, brace yourself, they don't lock. It is a slip joint. So it takes getting used to, and you've got to be aware. The steel, the blade steel, I believe is 440, I think. It is 440 stainless. And, it's a good steel. I've used Rough Riders for years and never had a problem with them. They hold an edge, and easy to sharpen. Stainless makes it a little bit more difficult, but it is more, I don't want to say brittle, but it's harder than carbon. So the sharpening is a little bit more. But when it is sharp, it's sharp. Now, Rough Rider, they send you a sharp knife. A very sharp knife. be aware of that. Let's have a look at the blades. Now, the main blade on this is actually the clip. Now, like I told you, there's 6 blades. And here it is here, and right off the bat, you can see it as a half stop, and then it opens, okay? So the half stop, you can see the etching there. It says Long Rifle, Rough Rider stamp on there with a double R back to back. And on the other side, it'll give the model number and where it was made, China. It's a nice blade, and it's sharp. It's a nice standard clip. You can see it has that long sweep down, and it does have a swedge, a false edge on the front side of the clip. And it's got that long pull, match strike nail neck. Pretty common, well made, nice and clean. So that's the main blade. The next blade, which is actually the biggest of them all, is this huge spear point, drop point. When I say that, the tip here is below halfway on the blade. So is it a spear point? They don't really say what style it is. I'm going to go with drop point because I don't think it's a spear. A spear is in the middle, right? It's even both sides. And you can see once again on the blade, it has that false blade on it, the swedge. The reason for the swedge, I've heard 2 lines of thought on that. One, when you put a swedge on going right to the pointer, it allows you to put a really good point on the end of the blade because you've swedged it at the top, and then your grind coming up there gives you a really nice pokey point. The other thing I've seen is, well, it was a method to save steel. And they would have the swedge all the way around, and it'll be a lot bigger, that sort of thing. I'm not sure about that. But the difference here on this guy is, if you look at the nail neck, it is not that long pull, although it is long. You can see it there. And it is a match strike, but it is that crescent style nail neck that most people are familiar with. On knives out there, it's a very typical style. Let's see, we've got this guy. Nice little pen. Look at that. Beautiful little pen. Same thing again. False edge, swedge, right there. On the tip there to give you that point. Nice, clean, very big ricasso. It's a smaller blade, but the ricasso is still big. Back-to-back stamp. Very nice. Nice and sharp. Ha! Next one is a small clip. And here you can see it here. And on this one, they have that swedge going all down that clip, all the way. Same thing again, it'll give you a really horrific point on there. Pokey, pokey, be careful with that. And you can see the nail neck is your regular crescent style with the match strike, and it has the RR back-to-back stamp on it. So that's the small clip. What else do we have? We have this guy. I really like this style blade on a folding knife. It's basically a Wharncliffe, if you look at it. Now, they're probably going to... A lot of people say, no, a sheep's foot. To me, a sheep's foot is not curved, okay? And it's a very distinctive down, maybe a little bit more down. So this to me looks like a Wharncliffe. Nice touch. If it isn't, it's still a nice blade. I'm a whittler. You know, no stick lying around anywhere is safe from me. If I have a knife in my pocket, I'll start whittling it and digging things out of it and that sort of thing. So a Wharncliffe's really cool for that. It has that very nice point, and of course the swedge helps. Crescent, nail neck. Nice big solid ricasso and the stamp. Common on all the blades. Very nice. And then, of course, you know, they said it was a Stockman, right? Just got 6 blades. There you go. Everybody happy now? We have a spay blade. Every Stockman must have a clip, spray, and something else, right? Well, this has something else plus. But you can see it's a pretty small spay, fairly short. a very long, and I think they messed this up. They should have put a smaller nail nick in it. I'll show you now why. It does have the false blade, the swedge, but if you look closely, look at that nail nick. It almost goes into the swedge. A little close. Does it matter? Not really. But it has that big nail nick with the match strike. So there you go. What did we have? We had a spay, Wharncliffe, drop point, spear point, big clip, small clip, penknife, right? All in one, 6 in 1. Very cool. Really like this knife. And let's give it a test to see if it's sharp. Main blade, let's see. Yeah, it's sharp. I mean, I always found that no matter how well a factory edge is and how sharp it is, I found that if you just strop it very quickly, lightly, it'll improve that cut a lot. Now you can listen to the cut on a piece of paper. Get going here. When you can hear it. When it's a really clean edge, you've stropped it and got rid of everything. It won't be as noisy when you cut it. It just sounds different. So there you go. So they give you a sharp blade. Can't complain about that. See that? But if you look at the paper, it's a little fluffy. The cut just needs a stropping, and that's it. So there you go. Look at that. Rough Rider. Man, it's a nice knife. And as I've always done in the past, we need to whittle something. Let me get a piece of wood. Okay, got me a piece of wood that I've been cutting and beating up on. And I've got the big spear, drop point, whatever blade. And you can see it slices right through it. Okay. You could use this in desperate times to feather a stick for your fire. And then of course you got your clip. Let's see how that Wharncliffe does after bragging about it, right? Let me find it. My sheep's foot Wharncliffe, whatever you want to call it. No problem, it's sharp. The nice thing about this is they have that point you can really dig in. But like I said, this is a slip joint. If you put the pressure on the knife wrong, that'll happen. Okay? Be aware of when you're digging in things, you don't want this thing slapping back into your hand. But as you saw, it has a half stop, so it's not going to slap right in if you pull away quick enough. And, the blade is so small, it's nice and easy to control. Using my thumb to apply the pressure, this hand guides the blade. And if you are going to be doing feathering, you don't want to go straight down. You want to slice into it to get the curl you're looking for. If you just go straight, you can see that curl. See it there? But if you slice, it's not going to work now with this. My blade's too small to even show it. Let me get a big one for you. We'll go with a clip because we haven't used that yet, right? Let's find a clean piece of wood. So if you just go straight, okay, you get a curl, but look at it. It's pretty big. But if you slice and you curve around like this, you will get a nice tight curl. See that? So keep that in mind. If you're feathering, don't just feather straight down. Slice across your piece of wood. You'll get a nice curl. Not the ideal piece of wood to do that, but hey, at least you can see it'll cut wood. So there you go. In the box. Very nice. Nice little box. Gives you a little bit of history here. In 1898, 23,000 men volunteered to ride with Teddy Roosevelt. And as you know, they called themselves the Rough Riders. And although 23,000 people volunteered, he only chose 2,000 to go with him up Kettle Hill. And it made him famous, as well as the Rough Riders. And of course, this one is called the Rough Rider long rifle, Stockman 6 blade, and the model number RR2622. So if you're looking for one, if you can find one still, great. Hopefully you'll get there in time. How much do they cost? Well, this one, I don't know. It was a gift in a mail call, like I said, so I didn't know how much it cost. So I did a quick flick around the whole internet and see what's going on. Not many available. And I just took an average. The price that I got was around about $25 to $26. You can't beat that. And, you know, it's going to fluctuate depending where you look. And, of course, there'll be shipping and tax and things like that on it. But it's under $30 for this. And let me tell you, if you've never owned a Rough Rider, might want to look at this guy. Just say. So there you go. A review. Something I haven't done in years. It's always fun to look at him. I love to, you know, I did reviews all the time. And, you know, any knife I get, I'll look up. It's mail calls. I like, ooh, look at that knife. And then I'll go and search and find out more about him. I want to know what steel they have, what the handle material is, what do they call it, what do they call their blade. It varies so much, and manufacturers call blades different things, and they have their own names, and they come up with their own blades, and especially with modern knives. So I'm a traditional guy, so for me, Rough Rider is a good place to go. They have a lot, and they're affordable. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back working on some projects, hoping to go ice fishing this weekend. Just waiting to hear from Josh at work. We're planning on doing a little evening dip in the water. The weather hasn't been very cooperative. We have a lot of sunshine. Everything's melting, so there's that. But hopefully we can get out there and do some fishing. Haven't been very lucky so far this year. I've also been a bit busy, so I really haven't got out. But we will soon. And hopefully we'll catch fish. But don't hold your breath. Just saying. Thanks for watching. Always, always appreciate it. And we'll see you again soon.